So this is a random one, but I just want to talk about it. It's an old BWL VOD from 2020, Onslaught. If you know about Onslaught, they were considered to be the best horde speedrunning guild back in original vanilla classic WoW. So this is 2020, the last potential chance for Onslaught to be the number one speed and beat Progress and some other high level groups. There was a lot of practice that went into this, many hours of PTR and getting familiar with the raid. We're going to be watching the perspective of the person that makes it all fall apart. This is the guy. So, again, I just think it's a really interesting perspective. I've never seen this VOD or much about this run, so it's very interesting to me. Obviously, the first fight is not interesting, so we're just going to skip through Razorgore, very boring. The thing to mention is this raid comp. You're watching the one mage point of view. Everyone else is a rogue or warrior. There's one warlock as well, but the DPS is very physical based because that's all BWL is. So, I'm not sure why this guy is wearing his Ani cloak. It looks like a little hard for me to tell some of the context of this. Again, I'm going into this a little bit blind, but yeah, this guy seems a little bit sus, is all we're gonna say. Props to him, he did get a nice quick start on that. Again, if you are part of a group like this that is speedrunning and doing PTR, you gotta be a good player, right? But even good players make mistakes, and I think that's what happens here. I am not part of this group, so I don't have all the insider knowledge, but I'll just share some of my thoughts as we see what cost them the run. So you see they're setting up top here. This is the speedrun strat. You have everyone up above so you can quickly run to the next area. All the melee are down below, ready to quickly go up. So you see there's barely any casters in this group. So he casts MQG, he's going absolutely ham with his chunky frost bolts. Boss dies very quickly. They move forward. This is interesting to me how they're pulling this pack back. I think typically groups would want to run into it, but anyways, just kind of interesting to see that. There's definitely been a continued evolution of BWL as time has gone on. I don't totally understand in the past here, watching these groups kill some extra trash that you're going to see later. You only have to kill this one pack, so they kill that and then they run forward. Fortunately, his rocket boots break there, so he looked like he would be running far ahead of the group, but gets stuck back, so that's unfortunate. I find this to be a very interesting choice here. Again, this guy's PTR'd, so he's done this run many times, but he chooses to pop a stone shield here. My assumption is that their upcoming was supposed to be someone AoE shouting, and that just didn't happen. But again, the context here is a little bit hard to find with it being an ancient VOD like this. You're going to see Faye, the raid leader, guildmaster guy. He almost dies there on Shaman. Bad suppression there. They get stuck. Definitely want to continue to run forward, so Rogue's got a little bit screwed there. But he's just going absolutely ham here. And he dies. So Faye almost died there as well. But this guy doesn't have a lip because he used Stone Shield. And I'm just kind of surprised at how lacking his UI is, so he's unable to see if anyone casts an AoE shout. I feel like you definitely want to see the buffs on these, or the debuffs on these mobs here, so you can see if they're AoE shouting, so that you can know if you can go ham or not. Anyways, he had a soul stone. Maybe that's a sign that he's the most likely person to die. But anyways, they quickly go into Broodlord. The mage died, so he doesn't have the debuff, but everyone else, they have that debuff, so you see how quickly they're just going to be full rage, able to constantly be pressing their spells over and over, while they have unlimited mana and unlimited rage, unlimited resources in general. So they cleave down that Hatcher with the boss. Again, their level of damage is pretty absurd. Their debuff is about to run out in a couple seconds here. Broodlord's going to die. And clean kill. I think there's also some other background here where like there was a potential for another run, but people had like work or something like that. So, you know, hardcore speed run, best group in the world, there's some things that just keep you from being that best group. So, kind of tragic. So, here's where the run falls apart. He's supposed to run in here and pull both packs at once. So he aggroes the first pack, aggroes the second, and Petries. When he Petries, this first group of resets and goes back to the start. And all these people out here are like, what the heck? What was supposed to happen is he gets the second group and then ice blocks right here. If you ice block, all the mobs will get close to you in close proximity, and then they all throw their bombs and everything gets exploded. But that's not what happens here. What happens here is he pressed his Petri button. Presses Petri, looks around, realizes his mistake, clicks off the Petri, dies. I guess he had another soulstone, so he had a soulstone before the fight, and then Orlok cast a soulstone again on him. So now he does his ice block. The boss is coming, and everything is not grouped together properly. All the techies are just gonna blow up the raid now, and it's a wipe. So pretty tragic way to go out. Rip. And that's a dunzo if you've ever seen one. So rip, best speedrun potential in the world. Just something to look back on and see how runs fall apart so quickly from the perspective of one person. I think that is one cool element of WoW, where you may feel like just a number, but you really do matter. And you see what happens when one person can do their job incorrectly. So, GG's. Till next time.